Hello, everybody. This is Jim Feist in Las Vegas, and today I'm joined by Dave Koken out here in Las Vegas as well. Dave, the last couple of days, the wind has been blowing, but the money keeps rolling in because you've been red hot in everything you're doing, and I've been doing extremely well as well. So what do we got going on this weekend?
There's going to be plenty of baseball. I played one full game side tonight. I've got two first five plays, which you have to be a subscriber to get. And then NHL, so far so good. Got a total in last night on the Devils and Lightning. I've not played a game yet for tonight, but I'm doing a little more work on this game. I think I'm going to add a -1 play tonight on one of the three games. The books, by the way, are going to get inundated with Golden Knights money tonight. I mean, I'm not going to get involved in the game, but they are going to get a tremendous amount of action on the Golden Knights tonight because Drew Doughty is suspended. The LA Kings, he is a really important player in that team. And the books normally get a lot of Las Vegas money, or Vegas Golden Knights money, I guess I should say. So tonight it'll be unusually heavy action. I would say, and I haven't talked to my guys yet, but I will. I think every book in town is going to have a liability on the Golden Knights tonight.
Yeah, well, this town is, nobody wants to really bet against them. You know, this is the home team, and this is Vegas, and it's, I expect, and especially with the suspension, it's going to be a big betting game on the Knights. And if you want value, you bet on the Kings, and you get a probably good value price. Whether they're good enough to win without that one player is still questionable, but it's that's where the value will be.
Yeah, I guess. But it's tough to say because the Golden Knights have been underpriced all year. And that's part of the reason the books have gotten hurt on this team. And the locals they haven't had to pay the price to bet the Golden Knights. They've just been picking up cash all season long. And they did it again in game one because the team got the 1-0 win. It's higher tonight. I mean, look at the lines right now in the game. You've got -160s, -150. It's 150, 160 everywhere. A couple of shops that tend to be public houses are even higher than that, -170. So, I guess it's tempting from a dollar standpoint to take the Kings, but I'm not going to do it.
What about the series, David? I saw prices yesterday that you could take the Kings plus 215 or 220. Has that gone up?
Let's see. I'm getting to my adjusted prices right now, actually. I've got, let's see, where am I here? Oh, the Kings, there we are. You can get looks like plus 230.
Wow.
Almost everywhere, a little less than that in some places. If you think they're going to win tonight, then I guess that's the bet to make. But if you think the Kings are going to get back even when they get back home, I think you wait, because then you'll get a really big price with them down 2-0. So if you think they'll come back at that point, which is always a possibility, this could be a home ice series, that's when the Kings would be a take to me. I don't really have much interest in them at this price. And I have a Kings series ticket, which I probably shouldn't have bet because I thought the Golden Knights might win the first game, so that was probably not a great bet on my part in terms of value. But we'll see what happens.
Well, we also got the NBA, and that starts tomorrow. We got some injured. We got a few injured teams that we have to kind of figure out what's going to happen with these clubs that are banged up and their adjusted lineups and rosters that they have.
I made one big play tomorrow. It's a top-level play for me. It's not tomorrow, it's Sunday. But that's the only game I'm going to play. I don't play a lot of NBA. I'm extremely selective. And I'm not a numbers guy in the NBA. I look for situational spots with intangibles. And I think there's one game that I guess I probably like it more than any game I've seen all season. I think this team's going to really come to play on Sunday, and And that's the only play I'll be making in the NBA this weekend, Jim. And it's available right now at a very inexpensive price at jimfeist.com. And I would suggest getting the game quickly because I think the number is going to, I believe there will be some movement on this game and that you are going to get a better number now than you'll get on Sunday.
I agree with that. People should get involved in that. I have a couple plays up as well in the NBA. I don't focus on the regular season as much as some people try to do. I find the regular season, to be a different animal in this decade or this generation, where coaches and players are perfectly willing to sit out, play less minutes, focus on staying healthy and look forward to the playoffs as opposed to the days of yesteryear, if you want to use an old saying, where a guy like a Larry Bird or a McHale, or they play every minute of every game. It's not like that anymore.
Well, and I'm not going to go back that far because, it's just a couple of years, really, since Popovich started this rest the players routine. It's only been going on for like 3 years, but it got contagious, and everybody in the league's doing it now. So I find the NBA regular season, I think I've only made like 50 plays the entire season. So it averaged out to about 1 or 2 a week. About 2 a week, actually. And it actually got less as the season went on. I'm not going to say I can't beat it, but I can't beat it on a nightly basis.
Well,
that's no problem for me. I got college basketball in the wintertime, and I've got NHL in the wintertime, and I'm trying to win games. It means less sales because, the various sites that I'm on, including yours, the more plays you have up, the more sales you're going to make. It's that simple. It's supply and demand. But the task for me is I only put out what I'm playing myself. If I'm not betting a game, I'm not selling it either. And I didn't play much NBA in the regular season. I might never do so again in terms of volume. So I'm not going to have many plays in the NBA. And it kind of carried through to the playoffs. It's a sport where if you're going to rate the sports for me, the NBA is last on the list, actually. I would say it's my weakest sport. So I'm very, very selective.
And I think you have to be, Dave. You mentioned that Popovich started it out. I'd have to take exception to that. I remember the year when Rudy Tomjanovich started. As the coach for Houston, he would rest his players. And nobody else was doing it at the time.
I forgot about that.
And I believe he was the first one. I could, correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody has, knowledge of anybody beginning it before that, but I think he realized that the way the structure is in the NBA, 32 teams, 16 make the playoffs, 8 in each division, that you really shouldn't pressure players so hard that you get to the playoffs and you're exhausted or your players are all injured. And a couple of years ago, Steve Kerr made a big mistake, in my opinion,
Yes.
when he pushed the Warriors to set that record.
Yep.
And then they lost in 7 games to Cleveland. Cleveland wasn't the better team, but they were not the tired team. Now, they have a player on the Cleveland Cavaliers that's different than just about anybody in the league. LeBron plays every minute of every game where he could, and he just doesn't rest. He's a different person. I mean, he's just exceptional in the fact that he has unbelievable stamina, and he's incredibly talented as well, obviously. But
you're right. I mean, the Warriors should have 3 titles in a row.
yes,
And what Kerr did that year, he obviously didn't know it at the time, and it didn't work out. But that was, everybody looked at that. The whole league looked at that and said, okay, well, we got to rest guys. And the important thing is just to get to the playoffs. The seeding just doesn't matter that much.
you're right. The light bulb went on for everybody when that happened, and I think that's what now everybody does it. So it makes each game very, very difficult unless you can, inject, watch the minutes of each player, get a pretty good idea what the coaches are going to do the following night, especially on back-to-backs, where you're traveling from one road team to another road team and stuff like that. So, and even stuff coming home after a long trip. So there's a lot more little things that you have to look at in the NBA. In the regular season, it's an entirely different animal than what you get in the playoffs. In the playoffs, everybody's coming to play. They know it's a short series, and if you get yourself behind the 8 ball, you may not get out of it. And you're going to come and you're going to give it full-time effort. And that's why I like the playoffs. I do well at it, and I focus on it. So with baseball, basketball, I even have bets in on the Heritage Golf Tournament this week. So there's a lot going on. In horse racing, Hank will have his horses up this weekend because you got these Derby prep races, and he's been doing real well with that. Dave, anything that you got going on you want to tell everybody about again?
Oh, just throwing the baseball. I know it's not the big volume sport. A lot of people lay off in the summertime, but I think there's money to be had in baseball, and I'm really happy with the start. Outside of last weekend, where I hit a little bump in the road for a couple of days, it's been really good. And to me, it's a math sport, and when it's a math sport, I'm going to do pretty well.
Okay, well, have a great weekend, Dave, and thanks for the time to do the podcast, and appreciate it, and we'll talk again on Monday.
Sounds good, Jim. Have a good weekend.
You too.